Welcome back to Fantasy PD meets Fantasy Madison, Friends of Madison Fantasy. It is a good day to be back. It's also an exciting day because we have a full Zoom link. And what I mean by that is we will not be cut off after 30, 45 minutes like another host on this call. So we will look into the funds to see what we can get for not Randy, but Andy Berg. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Good. Glad to be here.
I'm feeling great. Bird, what baseball jersey are you wearing?
I've got a Braves jersey on. I may regret that because by the time this is released, this video, they could be eliminated. But I don't think they will be. I still think they're going to knock out the Phillies.
Yeah.
Jake's all bite. Jake's all bark, no bite. Doesn't really matter. Shaw gave up on this league, so he's not even watching. So
Shaw still texts me about it every time they win. It's
yeah,
pretty
true.
quiet when they lose.
That's
That's Philly
awesome.
for you. Nick, how are you?
I am doing great. I am ready for this podcast. Very excited. I love the Q&A idea. I'm hoping that we got enough people from the league, just loyal listeners to reach out. I think there was an identity check on all questions asked, so they are legit. So to our listeners, these are real questions.
We did get quite a few questions. I haven't even had enough time to look through them all yet because there are so many. Most are from loyal listeners and not
Oh,
from
good.
people in our league, it seems like. So we'll find
Wow.
out later.
Our league is very busy right now. Every time you talk to someone or you're trying to ask for a trade, a lot of no shows, a lot of I can't be focusing on this. So not surprised.
Yeah, we're in the dog days, so we got to keep these people entertained with some good content. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll do some quick matchup previews. We did not learn from Mr. McManus last go around, so we'll keep things a little quicker. We don't need to talk about left versus right-footed kickers here. So let's go ahead and share. If he's gonna clown me for being the one who always shits on his team, I might as well take it. Um, Even though I will say Nick's done some deep diving too. But let's go ahead and we'll start here where we don't have a horse in the fights here. We've got Zayboys versus Baby Don't Hurts Me. 3-2 team versus a 2-3 team, catching you boys off guard a little bit. We'll just click into it. We don't really need to go into a ton of detail. I think we deem this as who cares? Who it's probably the two most careless people in the league right now, and the other one might just mail it in for the season. So, who do you guys have here as it loads?
Uh, yeah, I'm just gonna go big picture on this one. I'm not gonna look in depth, but I think it's a very important matchup for these two teams because of where they're standing record-wise and player-wise. Player-wise specifically for Shaw, he's 3-2, but he just lost Juicy Jeff. I think it's a big. He needs a win here before. I think what was it? Did you talk about his potential schedule of having Chris and Berg here? So getting a win against Matt's big. Meanwhile, Matt moving 2-4. He doesn't want to go two games under 500 and just almost solidify a toilet bowl entry. So I think a win for one of these two teams is big this week to set the tone for the rest of the season.
Give me Matt Nick. Jalen Hurts is going to have a big day. Little bounce back for Derrick Henry. Give me Matt Nick.
I'm
Mhm.
with you. I'm also taking Matt Nick. Shaw's starting Evan Ingram and George Kittle, two tight ends this week. So
Yeah.
tough start.
It is good to see J.K. Dobbins no longer on his team.
Mhm.
All
Oh,
right, let's head over to Milk versus Team Chris. These are a couple folks who have risen up the power rankings. Chris is rolling with Josh Dobbs. Christian McCaffrey is still a cheat code. Raheem Mostert now looking beautiful. Berg, let me just, I know we're not going player by player, but Berg, after the trade, Chris did not win the trade last week, but I am confident to say that you lost the trade. Chris might not win it long term because of the hamstring, could pop up. But if you would have hodled one more week, could have been interesting what you got for Cooper Cup. Give me Chris in this one. He moves to 5-1, and playoffs look good for Chris Keitel.
Well, to start, I do agree that I think Chris will win this one. Other than Dobbs starting at quarterback, is lineup solid. But the trade, there's still a lot to be seen. I'm not sold that Laporta's a top 3 tight end or whatever he's ranked at right now, and Cup is still is he really number
I
one
believe he's
overall?
tight end one.
Wow. Okay.
Because Kelsey
Well,
missed game one.
and so did Andrews, yeah. But yeah, we'll still see on the trade. I think both of us got good players back.
Yeah, I think Milk is in that dangerous territory. Pete, you are kind of in there. Shaw could potentially be in there. And then maybe Jake, just a lot of points for, but the record just isn't showing it. And that's what makes that sixth spot so much fun. That yeah, Milk for sure could be in contention here. I think Chris wins this one, but Milk at 2-4 still could be a solid look for playoffs at that spot.
All right. We'll pop over to someone who does this whole league just to beat him versus him. So I didn't make the spinning wheel, but let's take a look. Dan is starting Godwin and Lockett. All right. Could be interesting with KJ Osborne on his bench. No, he dropped a bag there. Give me, oh God, and Toy starting Javon. Give me Dan in this one. Give me Dan. Who knows what happens with Imari DiMercato and with the way that Jaleel McLaughlin has looked. Who knows how Javante's role changes a little bit. And I don't know. Okay, so Jamar Chase did put up 45 last week. So that's back-to-back 40 burgers I ran against. But DeAndre Hopkins had a low-key big day. He had about near 20 points kind of first time. I see that coming back a little bit. So give me Dan.
I've also got Dan. Toy's team just looks so bad to me. Dan's isn't much better. It's time for Dan to start trading for keepers, but he's probably gonna get a win this week.
Yeah, Cooper with potentially no Watson. Toy might have those two running backs are disgusting, right? Just disgusting how bad that is to have to start both of those. I feel for him. He's had injuries, but yeah, I'll take Dan. I think this could be the potential toilet bowl matchup if they don't make any moves with their rosters by season's end.
Oh, people backing their champion. We're all the way back. All right, somebody who needs a name change versus somebody who's all in on the Love Boat train this year. So,
oh yeah,
his roster doesn't look that terrible. Actually, then you see Michael Wilson starting, and I'm gonna go with Nick.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like Hebert, while 0-5, still in it. Like I like this team better than both Dan and Toys. Amon-Ra practiced full, so he'll play. Stevenson has a great matchup. Pollard has a good matchup. The cynic in me wants to take Hebert so he gets off the pine with his first win.
Fun fact, Hebert is 0-5 against Milk and his schedules. He's 1-4 against every other schedule, and he is a 2-3 team versus Cole's schedule.
No matter what, he's not doing well this year. But he has had some bad luck. I also think his team is just okay. It's not as bad as some of the other teams in this league. He's got all his Packers on the bye this week. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'll take Nick.
Oh, wow.
Thanks, Iceman.
Wow. All right.
Not many times I would take Nick in that ugly team, but I will this week.
The only person I think you respect looks less in fantasy than me is Matt Hebert, based on the way you talk to that man. And I feel for him. It hurts to hear you talk about it the way we do. So
I've seen Matt play so many times and miss the playoffs so many times. There's reasons behind it.
All right, we've got Harlan versus. We got a couple of 4-1 teams. One I believe in. One would be one of these two teams would be actually I put together power rankings. We aren't doing them this week, but I will tell you that I had one of these two teams at number 12 in my power rankings. And I'm also just curious. Cooper Kupp sitting in your wide receiver spot there. How do you like your team look? It's pretty good with that. And Jordan Addison, you're sitting Puka Nacua. Oh my God, Berg. Give me Berg in this one. And okay, I'm not even gonna comment on Cole's team.
I don't know what you're talking about with half of that. Puka's in my lineup, but
no, if you still have Cooper Kupp.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. No, my team is gonna destroy Cole's. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, Cole reached out to me this week. He told me he is 2-0 against you, Berg, all time. But he does
I
not
didn't
expect
realize
that
that.
to he does not expect that to keep going. So I think if he's not even taking himself, I'm not going to take him. I'll take you as well.
All right, and we got the Meme Bowl coming up here. Loser probably gets the clip unloaded on them. And who knows, maybe Jake might post something on his story from the Phillies or the Eagles. So stay tuned. He sometimes reposts things. I don't know if either of you have ever saw that. But I got a bunch of dogs. I think Kelsey goes for 2 tutties tonight. Let's roll.
Yeah, I can go. Jake has done a great job. I think his team is very respectable. Crazy the turnaround in 2 weeks. He lost his first 2 picks. His team looks a lot better. I just the numbers say he's going to have a down week eventually. I think this might be it. You can't rely on some of those guys to continue to score 30 and 40 points. So I'll take Pete on a down week for Jake.
I agree with a lot of what you just said, Nick. Pete, for Pete's team, the two Chiefs are playing the Broncos this week, so I'm expecting big games out of them. So even though Jake's team's looking a lot better than I thought a few weeks ago, we'll take Pete this week.
Did Jake make any trades from when we started talking? I think it was just some waiver moves. Really, he didn't go out and do anything. So I respect him for sitting on his guys, trusting his dogs, and here
You
we
laughed
are.
at the Adam Thielen waiver claim, and it's paid off pretty well so far.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. The weeks he started him, so we'll see if it continues. They're gonna need him this weekend, and Pittman gets a little bit of a bump without Richardson, I think. So, all right. Mr. Andy Berg, over to you.
Sure, let's go through some of the many listener questions. I'll just go from the first one that we got till the end. There were 34 total questions for us this week. We'll skip the first one about
Berg,
fantasy
yeah, Berg,
baseball.
you just tell us who you want to answer it. If you want it to both be us, just you lead the
Sure.
charge.
Yeah, everyone left their name too, so I can address who some of these are from. First question is from Matt Nick, and he said, "How can I convince my girlfriend to play with my butt?" Parentheses male G spot. I don't believe this one to one of you two guys.
Actually,
Wow.
who I would talk to is Chris. He's probably your best bet on that. I think he has people he knows that dabble. So they could probably help you do a little bit of role play to have a conversation on how to approach that in a delicate manner, even though you don't want it to be delicate.
He's very proud of it. He speaks open about his experiences or what he wants his experiences to be like. So he encourages it. So I'd talk to him as a resource. Unfortunately, he's not on today.
And last point is you should probably be able to show and not just tell. So make sure that you're able to, do things yourself so that you can give a little, science lesson.
All right, thanks, experts. Moving on. The next one is from Pat Tastic. Haven't heard from him for a while. He said, "What team in the top 6 do you expect to fall out by the end of the season, and what team in the bottom 6 do you expect to move into the top 6?"
Wow, that's a great question, Pat. I'll jump in right away because I've got the standings up. Top 6 are Chris, Berg, Cole, Shaw, Jake, and me technically, but because of points for, Will Zalatoris, Peter would be in it as the 6th spot. I'll give you my answer. I expect Cole to fall out. Unfortunately, the RB situation is just going to be a lot to overcome. And taking that spot will be me. I'll put my name in the hat. I have yet to fill a entire roster yet for 1 week. I can't fill out my RB2 spot. No one. So I'll put myself in there.
I've got the same exact 2. Cole better get on his knees and pray that he continues to get some wins and low points against. My dark horse is Matt Nick's team because he does have Jalen Hurts, Derrick Henry, and Brian Robinson. He's got a nice squad that could. We've seen him boom. We've seen him bust. And I know that's his first question, what he was kind of looking for, but
Oh, we have seen him bust. Eric, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll also say Cole's not going to make it. He does have a 4-1 record, which helps him out, even though his roster's not looking great right now. But still, there's a long way to go. I'll say that though that Milk will make it in. He's 2-3, so just a game out technically. He's got Tyreek Hill on his team. He's been killing it. I think his whole roster is pretty solid, so I think there's a chance he can make it still.
That's a good one.
All right, moving on to question 4. This question is from Berg. I don't remember writing this. Oh, great. It's
Could be your sister.
It could be. Berg writes in, I'm so sad. I'm a fan of a poverty baseball franchise. Anyone have any ideas of teams I can be a fan of instead? Well, the Braves to start. The Diamondbacks are looking great. Somewhat of a poverty franchise. Whoever represents the American League in the World Series would be a good one. What do you guys think?
The Nicaraguan team from your baseball league, they had a great run to the championship. They looked good. They were a well-connected team, so I'll say that.
Pete, who are you cheering for the rest of the way?
Can't be the Diamondbacks. The rest of the way, give me the Phillies. Let me go
Ooh.
heel on this one. Give me the Phillies.
That'll get some fan reaction. Moving
Jake
on.
won't know what to do with me.
Our next question comes from Will Zalatoris, bit of a celebrity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's been a while.
If there was fantasy golf, who would be your first overall pick?
What pick do I have?
Yeah. I want Berg first pick.
Give me Tony Finau.
Terrible
one of
pick.
like
Probably about a
3
third
golfers
rounder.
I can name. Tell me yours, Pete.
First overall pick?
Yeah, you got
well,
number 1 overall.
with my heart, I go Will. With my head, I go Scheffler.
I will go Will, both with my heart and my head.
All
Great
right.
question, though.
The next question comes to us from Dan. If the Dan of old took over his team right now, would you have him making the playoffs? So if Dan was actually trying this year, he's still 1-4 as his current roster. Do you think he'd be making the playoffs?
Definitely a week ago, if you ask me, yes. Now, 1-4. If he was 1-3, and I was hounding him for him to make trades, trying to badger him because I think it's good for the league when Dan's good. Yes. Now, I'd say the shot is about 50-50. No, less than that. I'd say no.
I'd say yes. I for sure think his roster's good enough. He's got good enough pieces. It's not had really any injuries. So he still has all of the players he picked. So I think if he worked a little trade magic, he could find a way to turn this thing around.
He's doing all right in points for, even if his record stays
Yeah.
bad the rest of the year, he has a chance.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what
it's
he
early.
reminded me of today when he called me to talk about keepers he wanted to trade for.
Pete, what did he say to you when you were 1-4?
Told me to pack it in and start thinking about next year.
Well,
I saw him in the championship, to which I lost. But then again, if you weren't here year one, his starting wide receivers in the championship game were Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, and Justin Jefferson.
the lore.
Thank you, Berg.
You're welcome. Our next question comes to us from another celebrity, Kamala Harris. She asks, Israel or Palestine? Might be a good one
Man,
to skip.
I wish we had like Matt Nick or Shaw or Dan on this call because rumor has it they've been doing a lot of research into that topic. So maybe we could let them answer it on the next
we
podcast.
can save it for next time.
Yeah, I plead the fifth on this one.
Right.
Yeah.
Next question comes from Mike McCarthy. Is Jordan Love a bust?
Jordan Love is not a bust. Our play calling has been nothing but mediocre. And if you look at the other guys from the Shanahan tree, it's been the best play calling in the league. So I actually think it falls more on Matt LaFleur's shoulders right now than it falls on Jordan Love's shoulders.
The offensive line and the rest of the offense in general has looked bad. The losses are not on Jordan Love. He's looked good enough to me.
He's a young guy. He's shown flashes of like really incredible plays that only a few quarterbacks can make. Yes, he's had errors. Well, a lot of quarterbacks have that. As long as he can get his accuracy down, I think he can be a 10-year starter.
Agreed. Next question comes from the DJ Moore fan club president. Don't know who that might be.
Jake?
Thank you. Which team will Justin Jefferson end the season? I assume they want to know on. Is that,
Minnesota Vikings. They ain't letting that man walk. Or
Do you think he was
on
referring-
our fantasy team.
That's what I was wondering. The question was very open-ended.
He'll end his season on Shaw's team and on the Minnesota Vikings team.
I
think
agree
Shaw's-
with both of those. Shaw's in a
agree
good
with-
position right now where he doesn't need to trade him away for wins right now.
Agreed.
The next question comes from the Mormon Mahomes. Not sure what that's in reference to. The question is Jets plus 6.5 question mark. I got the Eagles this week big.
Give me Eagles minus 12.5.
Oh. Is it at the link?
No. They're in New York City.
Are they going to the game? I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that. I knew they
Yeah,
were all
that's
going
what
to
it
New
is.
York, but the only word I've had about it is some DJ that they're going
Yeah.
potentially to. Yeah, I'll take the Eagles. I'll say Eagles by 10.
I heard they weren't going to see that DJ.
Throwing a
Next-
risk in their friendship. So Shaw can sit there and get bottle service with 3 guys in New York.
The next question comes to us from DJ, the DJ Moore fan club president once again. Records and probability aside, who would you like to see in the hot dog suit the most? This is a fun question.
Yeah, we had talked about this a little bit. I think me and Dan. Yeah, because you want someone that is going to be a little humiliated by it, but will take it in stride. So I think all 3 of us on the call would be humiliated. We wouldn't want to do it, but we'd still be goofy. We'd have fun. I think Hebert would have a lot of fun with it and not be humiliated at all. So I would not want him. I will go Shaw because actually because he'd be a terrible hot dog. I'll let you guys
He's
answer
so
what I
angry.
think. Yeah. I'll what do you guys think?
Toy would be fun to see in it. I think that he'd be a little more humiliated on it. And just coming into Madison for a day, if he has to wear the hot dog suit, walking around, I think Toy would be a good one.
I think Matt Hebert would play it the best.
Yeah.
Which would be fun. And I don't think anyone would be sad to see Dan wearing a hot dog suit all day.
That's a good one. Berg, I think you'd make a great hot dog. You do your little goofy. You do a little goofy run. It could be like the racing sausages. I would love for you to be it.
But I wouldn't mind.
2 days after our draft, you were on a crash course to the hot dog suit. You had a date lined up. But oh baby, have you turned that around?
I'm getting my buckle designed already. It's looking
I
good.
would be very careful.
Our next
I've
question,
seen Dan's renderings back when he bedazzled his.
mine will not look like that, I can promise you. The next question comes from Alec M. He asks, what are the top 3 things you look for in a man?
So different from his list.
You can pick things off whatever list you want.
Bustiness is definitely up there.
Agreed.
Bustiness.
That's probably number 1 for me.
Mhm.
Doesn't check out of the fantasy season if they have a little bit of adversity.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
A good face tattoo.
I don't know. Yeah, anything else, Berg?
I don't. Owning real estate's the only thing I can think of.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
What about if they don't know they own it?
it's a good question. Is a house real estate?
It's theoretical.
Mm-hmm. Our next question comes from Amy's Taxi Service. She says, my iPhone charger just broke. Any other ideas how to keep my bumper attached to my van?
Ooh, that's a good question. She could take her bra off and kind of fastened it around to keep it up. That would be a good one.
You know, I've
But
actually
then she'd have to figure out where to keep her money.
Yeah, that was exactly going to be my idea, is reach into her bra like she did with the money that was really sweaty that she handed me to go put money on pump 5, see what else she has down there. Was she wearing shoes? If so, she could use a shoelace.
I've seen Matt Hebert duct tape his car quite a bit for parts that are falling off. Other parts falling off, he just leaves in our garage or outside of it for months. But
She
Side
could
note,
also
can I,
walk like Matt Hebert.
yeah,
on the topic of Matt, can you just give a spark notes of the story you told me at the Brewer game about him in baseball?
I mean, I told you a lot of different stories, I'm sure.
How about the fact that with he couldn't see?
Oh yeah, he found out a little too late that he needed glasses. Baseball was kind of one of the signs when he was playing first base when we were about 13, and balls just kept whipping past his face, and he couldn't figure out why. Um, you'll have to ask Matt for some of his
Oh
baseball
no,
stories sometime.
and then the stealing third.
Oh, his team was in our the playoffs for our local youth league. This was when Matt was 14 or 15. Matt was the game tying run and was on second base after a big hit. And he thought he had the pitcher timed out well, 2 outs in the last inning. So he tried stealing a third, and their season ended on that.
Did he get picked off or thrown out?
Thrown out trying to steal.
Thank you. All right, back to the show.
Our next question comes from the Milk Machine. The Milk Machine asks, Berg, would you still make the cup trade with Chris? We talked on that briefly. I think if I went back, I wouldn't do it. I don't think it was necessarily a bad trade or a loss for me, but seeing how good Cup did, I wasn't quite expecting that week one. It was a good sign, though, that Puka did just as well as he had been, despite Cup being there.
I agree. That was my exact thought is you sat on Cup for 4 weeks and you traded him too early.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I get it. T. Higgins is also hurt. We'll see when he comes back.
Probably trade him the week he comes back.
I might. Next question comes from Chris, and the question is boobs. That's all.
Part of me thinks this might be Matt Nick writing in as Chris.
Could be. Cole had the next question. He said, which god is Cole or me praying to because of all my opponent's teams to stink? And Berg, are you worried about it? So what god is Cole praying to that causes all of his opponent's teams to stink?
That's how his question is written. One that definitely doesn't speak English.
Yeah, there wasn't the best grammar in some of these.
Thanks
questions.
for writing in, Shaw. I don't think I've ever talked religion with Cole specifically, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to skip on that one as well. Our next question is from Fred again. He says, who will get the most drunk in NYC this weekend? Matt, Nick, Dan, or Shaw?
Dan.
Dan took the week off, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll take Dan as well, but I expect a good race out of all three of them.
See, you never know, Matt Nick. Here's what you don't realize with Matt Nick. Matt Nick flies into a place on a Friday night and leaves on a Sunday morning. Shaw has tried that in his life, and he is texting somebody at 11 a.m., aka me, to get Tylenol. So his ability to keep up is not great. But how drunk does he get? I don't know. Can he just not hold it? So I think Shaw might be in the worst shape, but Dan and Matt Nick can hold it the best.
I look forward to seeing many Snapchats from this weekend. Next question, also from Chris Keitel, another one from him. He says, will Zach Moss have more touches and yards than JT? I think Taylor's going to start getting more of a load starting this week. So I'll take JT. He's going to get more yards and more touches than Zach Moss this week.
Give me JT 60-40.
Yeah, 64 is a great line for what's going to happen this week. They're ramping him up.
Another question from Chris. He says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how horny is Matt Nick really? 10 being so horny, anything with a hole is in danger.
Well, if Matt Nick actually wrote the first question, give me 15. If he didn't write the first question, give me 15.
I appreciate Chris using his name. Feels like everyone's hiding behind some smoke screens. So, Chris, thank you for asking. Matt Nick is probably a 9, and Chris is a 10. So that's my ranking.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you, Nick. Um,
I have once again, I've had multiple conversations with Chris, not being able to not being able to understand how somebody could be hornier than him. He doesn't know how it's possible.
I need to spend more time with Matt Nick. I feel like he's the only person I know that might match that. Another question from Chris: will Hebert score 100 points this year? I think he means like in any individual week this season. He'll have some lucky week when the Packers have a big game against the Bears or someone, but I don't expect that much.
I'll call my shot. I think he does it this week.
All right.
If Amon-Ra plays,
Yeah.
he does at some point. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. Next question comes to us from Randy Ferg, and he asked if we can analyze news clip. Let me get that going.
What do you think he means?
Well, he
News
shared a
clip?
link to
Like
a
a
news
fantasy
clip.
news clip, or just what's Randy? Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see.
You want to go to the next question? I can maybe just do a quick Google search on something.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Thanks for writing in, Randy.
Yeah. God, this next one's from Ryan from New Jersey. He said "F you, Berg," and that was all he wrote.
What did he say?
"F you, Berg."
Angry
Thank you.
man.
Thank you,
Wow.
Ryan from New Jersey.
Okay, Berg, I think the link came through. So let me here, I'll go ahead and share and we can analyze this. We'll do our best. We're definitely not journalists, but I got something here for us. My sound sharing. All right, this is from kind of middle of the country, it looks like. A little bit more in like the criminal side of things for news. So I think this will be interesting. It's a good segment.
A gun. That's where we find KQnA's Maeve Ashbrook live for us tonight. Maeve, walk us through what you've learned from police and, of course, how all of this happened.
Hannah, EMS took one man to the hospital in critical condition. The suspect, after nearly a 6-hour-long standoff here near 45th and Arkansas. Police first arrived here on scene around 9 a.m. this morning after receiving a domestic violence call. Reports also say that shots were fired during that incident, and police say that the suspect was also involved in an incident in a different part of Wichita even earlier this morning before all of this started. Police say they first arrived on scene and found that the suspect had barricaded himself in a shed. Negotiators arrived about an hour later. A SWAT team came around noon. Police say they knew the suspect had a history of firing shots at officers, and during the standoff they say he randomly fired 4 to 5 shots after refusing to communicate with law enforcement despite several attempts. Around 2:30, police say one officer shot the suspect after he tried to take another shot. The police originally say 4 to 6 family members were involved in the incident, but interim chief of the
All right, I think we've seen enough. What do we think?
I hope everyone was okay that was involved, other than the person who was shot. It doesn't sound too good for them.
Wow. Yeah, scary situation. Hope Randy's not a part of it, or anyone that he's close with. I mean, just scary stuff. The reporter did a great job delivering a concise message. So interesting link. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, thank you, Randy. Also, should be noted that had 101 degrees Fahrenheit. So for a reporter to stand out there and deliver, we're impressed. And it looked like everybody was walking around with water. So we hope they can get to the bottom of this. Thank you, Randy.
We get a few questions from the draft bimbo. She said, which Alex is better at math? It's a good question. Alex Toy, getting a PhD in economics, something like that. Other Alex just became a PE. Had to take some math classes, I assume. What do you guys think?
I'll take Alex Toy. I've worked with him hand on hand. I really haven't worked with Shaw, so I can't really give a good indication of what he's like in the math department.
Yeah, I think it depends on how angry each of them get. I'm gonna roll with Toy. However, Bridge might lead me to another Alex, but give me Toy. Berg, who do you have?
I'll I'll also take Toy. I feel like Shaw is already mad enough at me this week, so I'm gonna pick against him in one more thing.
This
Or by
one's
the-
from Ryan from New Jersey, and it says "fuck you, Berg."
Hey, give me 10 seconds. I'm gonna put Noodle in his crate.
All right. Oh baby, Nick, show for the camera.
Peter,
All
what
right.
would you do in a gunpoint situation?
Am I
Back to
the
the news
receiving
clip.
end?
Someone points a gun at you just out of nowhere. What do you do?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I think everybody wants to say they would fight and stand up. Um, you know, I think what I would actually do is I would attempt to hey, what do you need? And let's make a little comment, calm down. If it doesn't work, give them what they need and hope they run off.
Yeah, I'd probably poop my pants and then just give them my wallet or whatever they want as well.
What was the prompt?
What would you do if someone pointed a gun at you?
Wow. Who asked this?
Oh, this is just filling time from when the news
Oh,
clip.
just oh my God, scary stuff. Really proud of our people on the scene and the news station crew for being on top of it, being so close. I'd be so scared.
Mhm.
All right, back to our questions. Another one from the draft woman. She said, "Which Matt would win in a shotgun race?" That is a great question as well. They would be two of my top picks overall in the league. I've seen Matt Hebert chug some liquids, and I would take him over maybe anyone in the world.
I've not seen either, but I'll trust you on that one, and I'll take Matt Hebert as well.
I've seen Matt Nick run one race in my life, and I didn't bet against him. I didn't bet at all, but I thought the people betting on Cole were not smart. I'd seen him run over Snapchat. Give me Matt Nick. Man knows how to compete. Haven't seen that man lose on the field.
Another question from the lovely woman who picked our draft order. She said, "Which podcast host would win in a fist fight?" So between the three of us, I'm taking myself. I'm scrappy.
I'll take Pete. Pete's very a lot of cardio. I think he's a little bit better shape than you, be Berg. So I'll just stamina. Just run around
Give
in
me,
the circuit, run around in the cage.
yeah, give me on stamina, not on punching. I've lost several locker boxing matches.
Another
in high school?
question. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
hockey. Yeah. Another question from the draft picker. She asks, "Why hasn't Jake shotgunned yet?" It's a good question. We haven't got. Well, he did the
He did the
the
Irish car
shot.
bomb. He
Yeah,
did the Irish car bomb, which is, I mean, it's like a full thing of Guinness. It got like 5 or 6 likes when he asked if that was okay. So I'm cool with that. But
Mhm.
again, super lame when people are doing shotguns on a Sunday or a Saturday when they're already kind of drunk. I thought the rule would be doing it on a Tuesday after scores are final when you don't want to.
May have to revisit the Bible.
yeah.
Agreed.
Another question from the same listener. She asked, "Will Toy finally trade Peter Jamar Chase?" Peter, what are your thoughts on this one?
No, he won't. He just went for 40 against me. He's looking like the top two receiver in the league with Justin Jefferson being out now. So no shot. That is the poll that is Toy's team right now.
Agreed.
Next, we've got a question from Cole. Cole asks, "Can only listen to one new Drake album or new Zach Bryan EP? Are you guys more Drake or Zach Bryan fans?"
Mm. I don't think
Who's
this is
Zach
gonna
Bryan?
be.
I think he's country.
Yeah, he is. I didn't think that this would be either of your expertises, but I haven't really listened to Zach Bryan much. Dan has. He's all in. I listened to the new Drake and it was okay. I wasn't super into it. The song with SZA is really good, but more so because I like SZA. So I'll say give Zach Bryan a try.
I think I am
I'll
too.
roll with you, Nick.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of country or rap too much, but I'll take Zach Bryan this time. Cole asks another question. What's your favorite Halloween movie?
Oh, The Great Big Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Ooh, that is a great one.
Hocus Pocus.
Never seen Hocus Pocus.
Ooh, Berg.
Yeah. Let's see, is Saw considered a Halloween movie? I like Saw.
Wow, Berg.
Or I don't know, Beetlejuice is pretty good. Moving on, a question from Milk. He says, rank these three in who you would want to date your sister. Dan, Shaw, Matt, Nick. All three of us have a sister. If your sister was in New York City this week, who would you want? I mean, none are number one choices, obviously, but who would you guys pick if you had to pick one?
It's go on a date or like date seriously.
I think date seriously.
Yeah, I'll go with that as well. After some of the things Matt and Nick has written into these, actually more have been Chris, but
Give me Shaw.
that's what I was gonna say too. I
All
don't
right.
I don't trust Matt, Nick, or Dan, but Shaw's
Yeah.
kind of responsible, I think.
Charles hates your family lineage, Berg, and you're picking him number one.
Yeah, Christmas is the Shaw would be interesting.
Yeah. That's a tough question. Great
Great
one, though.
question.
Yeah.
Another question from Alec M. He says, I'm sorry, but how does Chris not know what real estate is by now? Please give him my info. I know the Madison area very well. We'll send it along. You only sent your name, but we'll let Chris know.
Sure.
Next question comes from Maggie. She asks, who has been the luckiest and unluckiest team so far? Schedule, injuries, etc.
Wow. Maggie's very well trained if she was able to type out a question.
That wasn't even me. Who was that?
Maggie.
Maggie. Oh,
There's lots of
God.
Maggies. It just says Maggie. No
All
last
right,
name.
let's start with the luckiest. Who do you guys say?
Dan, no injuries.
Dan
I
luckiest on injuries.
agreed.
Yep.
Very
All of
much
his early
agreed.
picks have paid off. One of the only teams. Yeah.
Cole's luckiest on schedule, without a doubt.
Yep. Yep. I
I
think
also
those
think
two are.
Nick. I think you've gotten good breaks. I think you've needed that. I think you've been due some good breaks in this league, and you've got
Yeah.
them. But Cole by a long shot on luckiest.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm good with that. Unluckiest.
Unluckiest. Jake's had the top two guys out. I had my top two guys out the first 4 weeks.
Yeah.
probably Cole on unluckiest injury wise.
He has had a lot. So he got really lucky with his against points, and yeah, now he's got just tons of injuries stacking up.
I'll throw my ring in the hat for
Yeah.
unluckiest schedule.
You and
I
Shaw
lost
have
to
had
Matt Nick when Matt Nick put up 140 points, and Christian McCaffrey, and that's not even including Jamar Chase going for 45, and Christian McCaffrey had 4 touchdowns against me.
You are a great candidate for unluckiest. You and then Shaw also, both of you have had some crazy close matchups. Like
Yeah.
I beat Shaw by like 2 points. Then he had this crazy comeback against Milk while also losing to you with that crazy Cowboys comeback. So yeah, all of you guys are in the unlucky one. Berg, I might throw your hat in the ring for luckiest, if I'm being honest. Basically, since that Cup and Taylor news, you might have had the best luck by a mile. Everything has broken your way. So I'd say I'd put you in the lucky category at this point.
I agree. And
even with
we have
Burrow
some
being
things
bad.
Oh, wait, that's not the right one. Give me a second here, gentlemen.
Whoa. Turn those lights off.
Looks like my team's pretty good. Number 2 in the power ranking score.
Team.
1 spot lower than I would have expected, though.
We've got a couple cool graphs here. Thank you to the FF Hub, not the Financial Finesse Hub, but the Fantasy Football Hub, and not the other hub that a couple of our listeners spend a lot of time on.
Yes. Please send all hub links to arberg@gmail.com. We will review them as a podcast. arberg@gmail.com.
All right.
Berg, let's see here. 3-2 versus a lot of schedules.
Yeah, 4-1 against a
Wow.
few as well.
Oh wait, this one's even almost even better. Here, let me give one more share here, and then we're all done. Didn't think we were going to use these, but this is pretty good. This is
why
good
we
content.
usually don't.
All
like
right,
Peter
so
handle
the
it.
unluckiest technically would be Shaw.
Wow.
Bird, you had a
Zay
1 in
boys.
10 week. So did you lose that week?
I did.
Okay.
That's my only loss. And then the last 4 weeks I would have won against most people. So seems pretty fair to me. It is surprising to see that Shaw's that high. 2-10 in 1 week helps a lot though.
Yeah, true.
But 2-8 in 3 weeks as well. Yeah, it's been a little unlucky.
Mm-hmm. All right. Carry
Thanks,
on.
Pete. It's very interesting.
I'm just imagining Matt Hebert stealing third.
I know, right?
He also bunted a ball into his nose one time when I was on his team and broke his nose and had to wear a girl softball mask the rest of the year. We only have 2 questions left. We might have to have a Matt Hebert baseball recap podcast at some time. But next one is from Bob Big Dollar Sala. He said, if there was one fantasy player on your team you'd kiss 11 times, who would it be and why? I've not thought about this one before.
Let me look at my team. Let's see who I would kiss. I would kiss.
Puka Nakua. My answer final.
I'd kiss Keenan Allen. His old owner hated him, abused him. He came to my hand open arms. He's one of the best receivers now. I'd give him a smooch.
Puka's done so much for me this year. I pick him.
Kyron Williams.
Big old
Big old
makeout sesh.
big old smooch.
Saved that running back position for you.
Or Christian Kirk. He's so cute.
You love him.
We got one last question. It comes from Randy again. No last name, it's just Randy this time. His question is thoughts on Aladdin the musical. I saw Aladdin the musical this week. It was a lot of fun.
So did I.
What'd you think, Nick?
I loved it. Thought it was really good. I don't know if he did this for your show, Berg, but he grittied on the way out on the final for the applause. So that was pretty
Aladdin
funny.
did? I didn't see that. No,
He pulled
no,
out
I
the
don't think
gritty.
Wow. Yeah, I like the genie a lot.
Genie was awesome.
Definitely my favorite character.
It was a good show.
Yeah. Well, that's all our questions. Thanks to everyone who submitted them. I had a lot of fun, guys. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Did you refresh it? I know people are typically late
That's
in this league to
a good
responding
point.
to
I
do a
have
lot
not
of things.
refreshed
So
for a while.
maybe
We're
refresh and there's
still at 34 responses, just like we
Okay.
started with.
Okay.
awesome. Appreciate it. We should do this again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Berg, hope your Braves win tonight for you.
Yeah. And then again on Friday night, I believe, is game 5.
Tune in. All right, gentlemen. Well, for those in New York, enjoy it. Come back alive, and we will see you all soon.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.